What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Nikolai Espresso, and welcome back to another video here today on the channel. This one is going to be a little bit different than what we normally do, and it's something that I really feel that I need to discuss with you guys here on this. It's a topic that, of course, is very much so burning through the community right now. You might have seen it in your sub boxes previously. As of yesterday, this is a little bit of a late discussion here on it, and that's because this whole waking up at 5:30 a.m., driving to college, coming home, and working all day and all that kind of stuff is killer. And I'm only in week 1 of this semester, so rip me. But we're talking about the recent update to Infinite Warfare, which by the time this goes live was yesterday and almost 2 days ago at that point. So now, I mean, absolutely no disrespect here to any developer, and I honestly hate sounding like I'm taking a piss on the game. But you know what, man? Sometimes you gotta stand up, you gotta say something, and as a creator and as a part of a group of creators in this community, I think that honestly this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to voice our opinions, and especially that of the mass majority, especially whenever something like this happens, and try and keep the COD world in check. Give the developers feedback on the grand scale here with it, because when it comes down to it, I don't mean to toot anybody's horn or anything like that if you're a creator, but creators are definitely in a unique situation where they have an audience and they can help relay a message on a larger scale, and it's something that is honestly quite humbling to be a part of. And though I might not even be the biggest or anywhere near that fact, to be honest with you, this is something that I feel like we definitely still need to talk about and have a little discussion here with it. I personally do not agree with the most recent update at all. So this update, for those of you guys that missed it, have not been on Infinite Warfare, and I know a lot of you guys have not been, and rightfully so to you guys. I understand where people are discontent with the current state of the game, and as a whole, just aren't really too fond of it. A lot of people play Modern Warfare Remastered, some people just don't even, some people might not have the time for it, or maybe you saw the entire update already, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this update added 100 Mark II weapons, brand new things, by the way, we'll talk about those in a second, added 100 of those variants into the Quartermaster collection, or rather in its own separate subsection of the Quartermaster, but then it also added 9 more prototypes to the weapons we already had, and over 600 customization features. 600. To me, that is very problematic in its own regard, and once again, we'll go over that here in a second. But aside from this being a beefy update, what is the matter with this? Well, firstly, a lot of people will point out to you guys that this is exactly the thing that we shouldn't be getting whenever there are still problems like the leaderboards, the emblems, major glitches, all kinds of different things going on within the community. A lot of people still will address this as a beta still of Infinite Warfare, and while I'm kind of impartial on it, I don't really care what people think one way or the other on that. It's definitely all personal preference. I understand where they're coming from here with it. We're missing core features, core components of the game that in previous years we've never missed, especially this far into the game. It's 2 months into the launch of Infinite Warfare, and we still don't have these things like leaderboards and emblems. Whether or not it's something to hide the player count or anything like that, the conspiracies behind that, it is still without a shadow of a doubt something we're missing, and is of course very odd in comparison to recent years. So the first big problem arises within the community is that we still have a bunch of these things that could be worked on, could be fixed and updated beforehand, but we still in fact then get more customization options, therefore pushing supply drops and COD points even further into what people would consider their throats in the Call of Duty world. And that's something that I understand the theory and the logic behind it. It's a marketing plan and a marketing ploy here with it, and as somebody that's going to school for marketing and business, I understand the laws of profit margins. It's something that you want to make up anything that you missed out, and of course, in comparison to recent years, once again, Infinite Warfare did not so hot. We'll put it that way. Not so hot in terms of the launch sales, and as a result, that really takes away from a lot of what was anticipated for, say, an annual report, an annual revenue for Activision and the subsidiary titles that come in with it. Call of Duty is no doubt one of the flagship titles that Activision has, and when that doesn't do too hot, you want to make up for some of the profits. But while it is in theory a decent play, a smart play in the business standpoint, it is in no way a good thing to do, especially at right now, this point in time, and especially not the place with Infinite Warfare. If you want to make up some profit, do it elsewhere, but in a game that is already a volatile state, something that has a community that is already walking on eggshells just to try and get around a civil war between Call of Duty fans, it's something that is not in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion, the best move to do here. And so I understand where, in theory, you want to try and get more profit out of it. You want to try and push a little bit more to incentivize people to buy some in-game stuff, but right now is just not the time or place in Infinite Warfare. I'd honestly be more okay if you drop this kind of beefy update in, say, Black Ops 3 or even Modern Warfare Remastered. But Infinite Warfare, once again, is just that whole volatile state, and it's just not a good combination. Now, the next thing that comes to this is the fact that the contents of this I'm not too happy with at all either. It is a very beefy update for people that love to customize stuff, they love to have different options on what to play with, and they like to collect, say, things in the Quartermaster collection. It is very cool for you guys, but in the grand scheme of things, if you take a look at it, it is not, once again, the greatest thing that I would have dropped if I was, say, a developer or somebody that was in the marketing strategic team for this. So, firstly, let's talk about the prototype weapons, or the Mark II weapons, rather, that were added. Over 100 weapons here with this, and that's something that I'm now coming back to, something where the argument was made in Advanced Warfare that it was pay to win. Supply drops promoted buying supply drops, especially with advanced supply drops, the ones you actually bought, got bundles with, and then got variants there out of it. Now, everybody came back to the whole pay to win argument, where the fact that people would be able to get better weapon variants than that of the people that didn't, that had only, say, the base weapons. The Ball 27, and I know I always get crap for saying the Ball 27, but I promise you Michael Condrey says it like that. But the Ball 27 had a variant called the Obsidian Steed, which had up damage, and there was another one that had upped fire rate and all that. So those two were very overpowered in the eyes of many people, and therefore, as a result, was dubbed pay to win. And I think this is actually something that is now slightly warped into these Mark II weapons. They're not variants that improve in-game gameplay, but instead, they add extra XP for every single kill. So while it's not pay to win in the same regard and same fashion, it is something that still gives a significant bonus to those people that ended up getting these weapons. And of course, you can still get them out of regular supply drops. So keys that you get can be used to open up supply drops and get weapons like this. But of course, you know, with content like this, it's going to promote more supply drops and buying of COD points and supply drops. So it almost encourages that argument of pay to win. And once again, though it's not in the same fashion, would you really think it's something that's incredibly fair if you, say, do exactly the same pace of kills and all that kind of stuff as somebody else, but you don't have a Mark II weapon, so therefore you end up leveling up slower than that of your opponents? It's something that, of course, is all really personal preference on the topic, and something that really is no real right or wrong, but that's my thoughts on it. It's definitely something that I'm not too really fond of. The next thing that bothers me about this is the fact that we have 600 more features added into the customization options within Infinite Warfare. For those that don't know how it works, if you're looking for a weapon and you go to the RNG luck, you test your luck here with this, and you want to get, say, a weapon variant that you really want, chances are the odds are already very slim, right? It's something that you're not going to get the best odds, but maybe you'll get really lucky, and maybe you'll get something here out of this where you end up getting either a variant that you want or something somewhat similar. Now, that said, your odds to get that are very small, but if you do, mad props to you, and really that's awesome to hear. But whenever you take a look at it, you don't have the odds in your favor, and honestly never will. But of course, whenever you add more stuff in, it then becomes even worse. Your odds then start to lessen with every single item added into the Quartermaster collection and supply drops as a whole. So that said, if you want a weapon, well, maybe if we add in a couple of more camos, calling cards, things like that, some salvage, it all lowers your opportunity and chances of getting whatever you actually wanted. And to put it into perspective now, of course, 600 more things is going to incredibly dilute any chance that you have of getting what you actually want, because, well, that's actually almost doubling what we have in the Quartermaster as a whole. Yes, it's not exactly the same amount put in as we had previously, but it's still rather close in the grand scheme of things. We've never had something that puts out this much content into supply drops all at one time. And if you want to take a look at it, my good friend Daz or Crafty Animations actually went digging through the game code and taking a look at all the things in supply drops, and right now we're only 2 months into Infinite Warfare. It came out in November, we're in January right now, add on a couple of days and change to the 2-month mark, but still, rather, let's just say, call it 2 months. So we're still very early on to the life cycle of Infinite Warfare. We almost have as much content in the Quartermaster collection and the Quartermaster section of the game as we had the entire lifespan of Black Ops 3, including post-launch. We have 1,687 items so far in Infinite Warfare through 2 months. So if that's any indication as to what the Quartermaster will be like here with supply drops in the future, well then we got a lot of stuff coming still. And that's something that kind of scares me, because we talk about this diluting the chances that you have of actually getting anything, and when you add this in and you take a look at maybe this being the future trend of supply drops within Infinite Warfare, well, your chances go from 1 in 1,687 to astronomically larger numbers. So, of course, that's not something that we should really be looking forward to all that much. And of course, I think as a player and somebody that I feel privileged to be able to bring a voice to you guys that can kind of unify the maybe overall public opinion of you guys, I think that it's something that we definitely need to say, you know what, we need to take a look at this and reconsider. Whether or not we actually make an effect or not, I don't know, and that's something that I guess is something time will tell, but right now, other people alike are definitely talking and speaking out against supply drops and what they're doing right now, because the game, once again, is not in any way, shape, or form perfect, and it's definitely something that, though many people are saying that there needs to be a lot of improvements, the game definitely could use some improvements. So, in my personal opinion, I've tried to keep quiet on it. I've tried to not really poke the bear too much. I don't ever really like taking a look at things this critically, this negatively, and especially in the Call of Duty genre and franchise. I love Call of Duty. And to see this kind of stuff happen, it just slowly hurts me. It slowly takes away from the game that I grew up loving. So, that said, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. There's just a whole bunch to this situation, and I would love to hear your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Once again, I mean absolutely no disrespect to anybody that may think differently, that may have to be a part of this, because I know a lot of people that work at the development studios aren't necessarily put into situations that they always 100% are comfortable with. So things like that, I'm 100% sorry that I have to say stuff like this, but it does need to be said. It's something that we need to take a look at where we're at, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it once again. That's where we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys are interested in anything Modern Warfare Mastered, Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, anything Call of Duty wise, got you covered here on the channel. But thank you dudes so much for watching. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, actually, before we go, link is down there in the description below. It's the best way to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys have a question, anything you want to ask me, anything like that, link is down there. But thank you dudes so much for watching. My name is Nikolai Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully we get some resolution to this, maybe a rollback. I don't ever know if that would be possible, or maybe we just get something that evens out the entire feel of Infinite Warfare. I'd love to see that, but I guess time will tell. And of course, thank you dudes so much for watching. My name is Nikolai Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.